Hello and welcome. Now, clearing fake and substandard products off the streets of Nigeria has been an uphill task. Day in, day out, Nigerians are confronted with devastating effects of many of these items, from fire outbreaks due to poor quality electricity materials, building collapses occasioned by use of substandard materials, and even death. On the highways, to expired and fake tires, and many more. Lives are lost and property destroyed. The body responsible for ensuring goods are in check and meeting national standards is the Standard Organization of Nigeria. It is seeking legislation to be strengthened even more to prosecute offenders as deterrent. But how much impact has it had so far? Stay with us for answers. I am Joseph Otsen. Now, my guest is a pharmacist with a bachelor's degree from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Kaduna State, and also holds a Master of Business Administration, MBA, from the Washington University, St. Louis, Missouri, USA. He started his career at the Nasarawa Hospital, Kano, as hospital pharmacist, but would later move to the United States of America, USA, to continue the practice. He is someone who wants to contribute to the development of the country, so he kept up with politics back home, and at the time served as Chief Protocol Officer of CPC Presidential Campaign, Deputy National Chairman, APC USA, and Chairman Registration Committee for APC in Kogi State. On the spot is Director General, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Farouk Salim. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Joseph.
Let me just start by getting a clarification here. Let me use NAFDAC, for example. When we talk about NAFDAC, people know that they're there to check drugs, ensure that so there is a specification. But when it comes to standard organization, people don't know where it starts and where it ends. It's like all products, tires, building materials, electronic materials, and so on. And then one begins to wonder, do this organization have the capacity for testing to get, or to test to get the right standard of these materials and so on? So give us a clarification. Where do we start and where do we stop?
We set the standards for everything, including drugs and food. And then the parts of drug and food regulation is done by NAFDAC. And there are other organizations that do other regulations here and there. But generally, we are responsible for the rest of the non-food and non-drug items. And we have a very large, old organization. Standard Organization has been in existence for 51 years. We have offices, 48 offices around the country. In some states like Lagos, Kano, Anambra, we have more than one office to cover the needs of the people there. And we are making a lot of progress in doing that. So yes, we are responsible for all other products in the country. We do have organizations that do regulations of some of the products we standardize. But generally, our organization is doing a decent job of coverage of all those activities. Mind you, setting standards are something that you have to use everybody. We use academics in the country, we use stakeholders, we use the industry. Together with us, we sit down and discuss the standards. Standards are not just made by the organization. These are made by the consumers, by the stakeholders. We just facilitate it and then we keep it for everybody else. So it's a robust job, but we are doing a very decent job of doing it.
Yeah, I asked that question because a lot of people have argued that probably why we are struggling so much to get a lot of substandard products out is the fact that the job is so ambiguous for the standard organization. If we have had units or have separate organizations concentrating on something, like we may have had the better and the efficiency?
Well, that's a false perception. A lot of people throw solutions by creating more agencies to address issues. And then at the end of the day, you have all these clashes and overlaps. At the end of the day, you don't get the job done. Substandard goods proliferation in this country is a multitude of a lot of factors. It's not just the lack of enforcement. It's not just the economic situation. It's not just the people's attitude. It's a combination of everything. And we, as an organization, we're always working very hard to sensitize the public and sensitize the people who sell those products or make those products to the dangers and economic damage they do to themselves and to the people. So it's a continuous process, but you cannot assign proliferation to only one item or one organization.
But as the head of the organization, are you not challenged by the enormity of the tax there, given what you need to cover, given that most organizations in Nigeria, one of the major challenges is capacity, personnel, and so on?
In an ideal situation, we will need more people to do our job. In an ideal situation, we will have less people who are producing substandard goods. And I can assure you, in the last 2.5 years, we made so much progress. There are some industries in this country that are doing very well, and you can verify from them this progress they're making. When we first started 2.5 years ago, the lubricant industry was threatened by substandard goods producers. People have, things like they will go and get the containers that look exactly like the original, then they put wrong things in the containers and sell them to people. With the help of the market associations, with the help of the industry, because the industry helps a lot because they have the intelligence report of those people who are adulterating their products. We actually did a robust enforcement, and right now the lubricant industry in Nigeria is the better for it, and they are doing very well. The same thing with the electrical cable industry. Right now, they produce better cable than even imported cables in the country. And that's because they collaborate with us. We work with them to make sure those bringing fake products using their names or using fake names are prosecuted. So we have a lot of progress going on, but generally people look at the problems without seeing how much progress we're making. And the industry is our #1 supporter. Even the market associations are working with us. I have opportunity to be in Aspanda just last month. I was received very well. And we sensitized the traders on the benefit of selling products that are up to standard, of even making products now themselves. Instead of just buying and selling, they can use some of their resources to produce these products. So we are making a lot of progress.
So how much of this impact will you say have helped in terms of developing the domestic products?
Well,
itself?
like I mentioned earlier on the cable industry, if you're building a house right now, I guarantee your electrician will ask you to buy made in Nigeria cable, because they're not only up to standard, but they are excellent, better than most imported cables, electrical cables in the country. The same thing, if you go to your mechanic, you get an Owando or an Amasco lubricant, I guarantee you those products are not only up to standard, but they're excellent. In fact, some of these products are exported outside the country to the Middle East. So we are making a lot of progress. The industry is doing very well. I mean, the cement industry is the best right now in Africa. We have all these other companies from Nigeria going to West African countries and South African countries producing the same cement, same quality cements. So our industry is actually doing well. Our job is just to make sure they are sustained and they get better. And I assure you that's what we are doing.
Okay. There is something that worries Nigerians.
Yes.
Most of the time you see your men go out there, raid shops of goods that are suspected soft quality,
Yes.
quality, But what the many Nigerians is that you find out that the same shop that has same quality of a particular product that was rated by NAFDAC, sometimes they jump this shop and go to the next one and go to the other.
Yes.
And so some people believe that for this to take place, there may be some degree of corruption there. What are you doing in your organization to correct this corruption, tackle corruption within
first of
the
all,
organization itself?
The first correction I'm going to give you is the fact that our people are men and women, professionals. Last just a few months, like almost a year ago, our head of enforcement is a lady. And so we have men and women in our organization. And also, to paraphrase a policeman when I was in the US who stopped me, and gave me a ticket when I was speeding. There were like 4 cars doing the same speed limit. He stopped me. So I asked him, I said, why did you stop me? Why don't you stop the other people? He said, when you go fishing, do you catch all the fish? So essentially what I'm trying to tell you is, when you try to enforce, it's difficult for you to close the whole market. And maybe the reason why we even started enforcement in that particular time is the activity of that particular shop. And that does not stop us from going to other shops to do it. And so the issue of corruption is a very unfair statement, because if there is corruption, there won't even be enforcement in any of the shops. Because I can guarantee you these traders have organizations, they have a lot of money. Left to them, if our people are corrupt, they will just easily pay them off and there won't be any enforcement. And so if a shop is locked and another shop next to it is not locked, it's simply because they were lucky at this particular time we didn't catch them doing the wrong thing. And the Nigerian phenomenon we have in this country right now is the fact that if you go as an organization of the government, you enter a market, it's difficult for you to get 10 shops all locked up at the same time. Then you have a riot in your hands. In November 2021, we tried to go into the spare part markets here in Apo, the capital of the country. The traders used guns and other rough materials to beat up our people, break our doors and our cars and send us out. So we have to come back a month later with more police, more secret service, more soldiers to be able to do our enforcement. So our enforcement activity is a risk taker for most of our employees. And actually, to be fair to them, they are risking their lives every day to make sure our people are protected, our industries are protected. Because keeping to standards is not just making sure fake products are not in the market, but it's making sure that our honest producers and honest traders in this country are kept in business, not kicked out of business. So I honestly think that even in any organization of 1,700, there may be 1 or 2 bad eggs, but I guarantee you any person that was caught with their hands in the cookie jar is always punished.
Do you have a mechanism to check?
Yes, we do.
Wrongdoings.
We have a complaint desks. We have anonymous lines and internet connections where if you have a problem with any of our employees, you can report them. And you can report them directly. We are, of course, to investigate our employees, but I assure you, most of our employees are doing their jobs at the risk of their lives every day. Men and women, they're doing that. And if you talk to the public that deals with us, they have a lot of high praises for us. In fact, we were ranked consistently for the last 3 years as #1 in ease of doing business, meaning we don't interrupt our businesses, we don't spoil your business, we don't spoil your industry, we are here to help you. So the public and the other government agencies view us as partners in progress. And we are really very proud of that ranking for the last 3 years of being #1 in ease of doing business in the country.
Okay, I understand there's a bill in the National Assembly.
Yes.
To strengthen you.
Yes.
What is it that you're looking at?
Well, the last time our bill was amended was 2015, and that's 8 years ago. And part of the penalties in the bill was couched in naira terms, like in figures. They would say 1 million naira, 500,000 naira. And
Okay, sorry, let me just break here. We will just take a break. Then when we come back, we'll now
sure,
speak on this
sure.
bill that is not as National Assembly
Sure.
to strengthen the standard organization of Nigeria. It's time for break, but don't go away. We'll be back. Now, welcome back to On the Spot with Director General Standards Organization of Nigeria, Farouk Salim. Now, before we went on the break, we were talking about the bill at the National Assembly to strengthen the standard organization, and you were trying to give us an insight into it. Just move on.
So basically what we are doing is that after 8 years, the last time it was amended, most of the penalties have lost their punitive measure value. You see a problem with somebody bringing ₦1 billion worth of goods and the penalty is just ₦1 million. Automatically they will just pay it off and there is no penalty. A penalty is supposed to be something that will hurt that person to make sure they don't do it again next time. So we had to go back to the National Assembly to change some of those penalties to put a minimum or a percentage without putting a maximum on it. So that way, even in 10 years' time, the sky is the limit for the judge to judge what they want to give. Another thing also we notice is there are peddlers of life-threatening materials, electrical cable, tires, all these things that cost the lives of individuals. It's not enough to just put penalty for them, because what we find out is that it's always the default. When there's a penalty or a jail term, you end up getting a penalty. So some of those options for penalties were completely removed. So if somebody is selling or importing products that will kill people or cause the deaths of people or injuries to them, now we have a specific jail term where the judge can decide between the 3-year jail term to 5 years or even more. So now this is more punitive for the individual. A businessman doesn't want to be locked up for 2 years in jail. He doesn't mind paying any money so he can continue his business. So the new act has reviewed a lot of these measures to make it more difficult for people to break the rules and to make it easier for the judges to pass sentences on them. And to the credit of the National Assembly, the 9th National Assembly, the Senate and the House, they passed that laws, the adjustments we asked for, and now we are waiting for our president to assent to it and sign it so that we can start working with it. So we are very excited because it has given us more impetus, more power, more teeth to do our jobs to protect the country and the industry in general.
Okay. Talking about prosecution, I know you just spoke about some of the limitations you had in the past regarding to legislation, but if you have to speak about the impact you have had, a lot of people believe that the reason why a lot of things continue to happen in this country is because there's nothing to deter people. The prosecution where someone faces the consequences, then others will now look at it and say, oh, I won't do that again. How much of this persecution have you had?
We have a lot of convictions.
I know you spoke how
we have several convictions recently where people were found guilty, breaking one rule or the other, and they are locked up. We have a series of those done, and we have a whole big legal department where there are lawyers. Some of them we even borrow from the Ministry of Justice, and they are doing a very busy job of prosecuting, going to courts every day, getting convictions. The lubricant industry, one I just mentioned to you, we had a big case where the person was one of the biggest lubricant fakers in the country. He's locked up right now as we speak. And we recently had a case in Calabar where not only the people trying to fake that product were convicted, but all their facilities were confiscated. So we're doing a lot of progress. The issue of substandard goods, I want to make it very clear, is the fact that if there is no profit in a business, nobody will buy it. So we have to change our attitude too. You see, the customer, for example, you're going home, your name being Joseph, I assume you go home for Christmas. If you're going home for Christmas with your family, then suddenly if you have a driver, you say, oh, guy, the tire is not good. So this is a new budget for you because you're going home for Christmas, you probably spend more money. Then you say, oh, go to the market and get me Tokumbo tires. That action alone facilitates all these bad things we're having. First of all, you don't put your family on a used tire. It doesn't matter if it's Belgian or China. It's wrong, because we cannot guarantee the standard of how those used tires were used before and how much quality they have currently. So that's the reason why used tires are illegal. So the customer should resist from looking for Tokumbo parts, Tokumbo tires to put in their property, where some of these things, they are putting the whole family inside those at risk. So we are working in a very versatile way, where we reach out to the customers, people like you, explain to you why you shouldn't look for Tokumbo parts or you should not look for used stuff. Second, we go to the sellers themselves, the traders, and explain to them there is more profit in getting a good reputation, in selling products that are good quality. Then we go to the industry, our industries, and explain to them the few of them who are breaking the rules, because most of our Nigerian industries, we monitor them so well that they don't break the rules. Believe it or not, the reputation out there is people think some of these products are produced in Nigeria, but I guarantee you 90% of substandard goods in this country are imported. So we are educating the consumer, we're educating the person selling, we're educating the person importing, because it is an attitude change. For example, you go and buy a product. Say you want to get a light bulb. You buy the light bulb, you plug it in, it blows up. Instead of you to go back to that shop and say, you gave me the wrong one, give me back my money or give me a better one, you just throw it in the trash, curse the person or say something like God damn them, and then go and get another one. So we have to change the way we do business. We have, in our organization, we have desks that are there specifically to help people. If you buy a product and you are not happy with it, bring the receipt or go to the market, we fight for you. And that's how most of our enforcements will happen, because if we find out who brought the product, who is the main importer, we track it down all the way to the source and punish those people. But our people have this tendency sometimes to try to save cost. And this issue of saying there's no money in the country, we are suffering, we are surrounded by countries that are poorer than us. These substandard goods are not proliferating in Niger Republic or in Togo or in Benin Republic, because the attitude is very important. If there is no customer, there is no profit, no trader will indulge himself in a bad business. And the consequences you are mentioning, we are working very hard today. We are confiscating goods every day. We are getting judgment from the court to destroy those substandard goods every day. When you see these things, even if it doesn't affect you, you have to report it. How do you report it? We have offices all over the country. We have internet access through email. We have phone numbers you can call. We have special customer service desks. Reach out to us. When you see something bad, don't ignore it. See something bad, report it. Don't use a product that is not good. When you buy something bad, don't throw it away. Bring it to us. We'll figure out how we can solve the problem. The public has to go out there and work with us to get these things done.
Thank you very much for your contributions to standardizing Nigeria and having time to be on the spot.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Director General, Standards Organization of Nigeria, Farouk Salim.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
It's a pleasure.
I'm Joseph Woten. See you on the next episode of On the Spot.